Today we're going to dive into a pretty incredible story, is where this ancient herbal wisdom smashes right into cutting-edge cell biology. We're talking about Chinese skullcap and how it might just be connected to one of our body's most powerful cancer-fighting genes. The whole story really starts with a simple but profound idea. Just let this sink in for a second. For thousands of years, nature was the pharmacy. And what's so cool is that science is now finally catching up, starting to understand the amazing molecular machinery behind some of these ancient remedies.
So, let's meet our main character, Chinese Skullcap, or Huang-Qin. This is not some new, trendy supplement. Nope. It's a cornerstone of traditional Chinese medicine that's been used for literally thousands of years for all sorts of things, from infections to inflammation.
Now, the power of this plant isn't magic. It's straight-up chemistry. The real secret is buried in its root, which is packed with these potent compounds called flavonoids. These molecules right here, they're what all the excitement is about. And to really get what they do, we need to shrink down and look at how our own bodies work. To understand how a simple plant can have such a big impact, we have to zoom in. I mean way, way in. We need to talk about the fundamental process that keeps us alive, and the very same process that, when it goes haywire, leads to cancer, the cell cycle.
Think about it. Every single cell in your body follows this beautifully choreographed dance. It grows up, it carefully copies its entire DNA blueprint, it double-checks everything, and only then, when everything is perfect, does it divide. The whole system is built on order and control. And this lays it all out. It's the core difference between a healthy cell and a cancer cell. Healthy cells play by the rules. They stop at these quality control checkpoints. But cancer cells, they're total rebels. They just blow right past those checkpoints, making sloppy copies of DNA and dividing like there's no tomorrow.
So if there are checkpoints, there's got to be a security guard, right? Something that actually enforces the rules and keeps things in line. Well, let's meet the unsung hero that's working inside trillions of your cells every single second of every day.
Who is this sentinel? Who's in charge of that critical quality control? Who gets to decide if a cell is healthy enough to divide, or if it's a potential threat that needs to be shut down?
It's a tumor-suppressor gene called TP53. And the source material for this explainer has this fantastic analogy for it. Think of TP53 as the fiercely loyal Rottweiler standing guard at the gate of your DNA, always on patrol.
And this guardian isn't just looking for one type of trouble. It has a whole checklist. If it spots DNA damage, maybe from a toxin, or if it senses a cell is trying to grow way too fast, or even if the cell is just under a ton of stress, TP53 slams on the brakes. It stops the whole division process right in its tracks. Okay, so we have this absolutely incredible defense system. But even the toughest guard dog can be weakened or distracted or even muzzled. And this is really where our environment and our lifestyle choices start to enter the picture. Turns out things in our environment can really put a damper on TP53's ability to do its job. Things like exposure to certain molds, breathing in pollutants from smoke, or eating charred food. And, this is a big one, metabolic problems, especially those driven by chronically high blood sugar. These things can kind of overwhelm the system, making it way harder for our guardian to keep up. And this brings our whole story full circle. We've got the ancient herb, we've got the cellular guardian. So, how exactly do they team up? How does Chinese skullcap form this incredible alliance with our TP53 gene?
Well, according to the early research, the first thing these flavonoids seem to do is pretty simple. They just increase the number of guardians on patrol. They help your cells produce more of that TP53 protein, basically beefing up your internal security force.
But it's not just about having more guards, right? They need to be doing their job. So these compounds also appear to help activate TP53. It's kind of like giving the command, go get it. It tells that Rottweiler not just to stand there, but to actively hunt for threats. Okay, this might be the most important part of all. You see, cancer cells are sneaky. They often churn out a protein called MDM2, and this thing acts like a muzzle that binds to TP53 and shuts it down. The compounds in skullcap, they appear to reduce MDM2, which effectively unmuzzles the Rottweiler so it can finally do its job. So the end result of this whole three-part strategy is something scientists call cell cycle arrest. By boosting, activating, and unmuzzling TP53, the herb's compounds help put a stop sign up for dangerous cells before they can ever finish that division dance.
Now, all of this sounds incredibly promising, but like with any deep dive into science,
we have to look at the evidence really carefully and, responsibly. So let's see what the lab research actually says. In the lab and in animal studies, this mechanism has shown some really interesting potential across different cancer types. You can see here studies found things like strong toxicity to breast cancer cells, and they saw it activating p53 in gastric cancer models. The preclinical data is definitely compelling.
But now, for the single most important number in this entire explainer, 0. That's the number of human clinical trials that have proven this effect works in people. All that compelling data we just talked about, it's from cells in a petri dish and from animal models. We are just not there yet with humans.
And of course, because this is a potent herb, it comes with some really important things to keep in mind. It's definitely not for everyone, especially folks with liver issues, and it can interact with certain medications. On top of that, actually getting enough of these active compounds into your system, that's called bioavailability, is a challenge researchers are still trying to solve.
So what's the big takeaway here? The main idea is that we're rediscovering how these powerful compounds from nature can potentially work with our bodies. They're not replacing our amazing defense systems, they're supporting them. Kind of like giving that guardian at the gate a helping hand.
And that leaves us with one last thought. Chinese skullcap is just one plant out of thousands that have been used for centuries. It just makes you wonder, right? What other incredible biological secrets are just sitting there, waiting to be rediscovered in the pages of ancient wisdom?